This is the first episode of 0 to 100 pod, which is on marketing, and where we will be focusing on the journey of 0 to 1 million journey, as well as on the aspects of AI for marketing, how companies are adopting, and 0 to 100 million, that's the target, and where distinct phases of 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and 10 to 100 will be discussed. In today's episode, we have Kabandi, who's the co-founder of Omnify, and she also leads the marketing there. So welcome, Kabandi, to the first episode of 0 to 100 pod.
Thanks so much for inviting me.
What we have today in store is we'll go through quickly what Omnify does, and also the learnings that we have from their journey of 0 to 1 million, and then finally we will deep dive into how they are adopting AI for marketing, and also general advice for founders who are in the journey of 0 to 1 million. So a quick background of Kabandi: she is a graduate in zoology, after which she did her masters in HR and industrial relations, and then from there she worked as an officer in retail banking, where she used to attend hundreds of calls per day. That's pretty interesting. And then she got into marketing. Let's hear more from her on how that journey was and how she has built Omnify.
Thanks, Dhanyan. So I'm from a very small town in Assam called Sivsagar. I studied there until my 12th. Both my parents are doctors, and I did most of my kind of schooling there. And then I moved to Delhi University to do zoology. That also came from the fact that I didn't clear my medical entrance exams. So the next option, of course, was to do something that is kind of related. But soon I realized that it's not fit for me. I'm not the right person to do this. And then, as most of the people under 20s, I think, tend to do, is like they're very confused. And I realized that, okay, let me do something in business. And that's when I went to England to do my master's in human resource management and industrial relations. I studied there, completed my postgrad, and then worked at the Royal Bank of Scotland for a bit. I was specifically in their NatWest division, and that actually taught me a lot about the customer side of things. So that is a little bit about me. So yeah, I was there for around 2.5 to 3 years before moving back to Bangalore. And that's when I met my co-founder, Nick, and kind of hit it off. We are building different products at that point, failed too many times. And then in 2016 is when we launched Omnify.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's about me.
So, for all of our understanding, right? So, what does Omnify do, and if you can walk us through as well, the various business units as well, yeah.
Interesting. Omnify, as you can see, is actually Shopify for services. It's a platform built to help small and medium-sized businesses, specifically in sports and recreations, activities, coaching, etc., to basically grow and manage their entire operations. What these businesses do is, with Omnify, they can launch beautiful branded websites, manage their bookings, accept payments, make their entire customer lifecycle reports, etc. Think of it like an entire operating system for these businesses. Back in 2016, when we started, we had a very clear mission that we need to help these small and medium-sized businesses thrive with smart and simple technology. So thrive being the keyword here. Until then, what we were seeing with these service-based businesses was they were mostly focused around scheduling. So no one was helping them sell more. So that is where we thought we'll build Omnify, where we'll help these businesses get more bookings, get more revenue as well, on top of managing or automating their entire end-to-end operations. Over the years, actually, we've seen a lot of our businesses move from, say, who started with us with just one single location to scaling across either different centers or in different cities. And a big part of it has to do with because they had the right tools to do that. That is the core of what Omnify actually does.
So these businesses, so these are like children activity centers, then wellness centers.
Yes.
Can you share your top 5 categories?
Yeah, sure. We actually work with especially sports and recreational business. It be academies, athletic centers, sports facilities like a badminton facility, etc. Then we work with a lot of kids gymnastics businesses, so physical fitness being the core. Then there are Sports coaching is a major part. Coaches who do, say, tennis coaching, soccer coaching, etc. Then we have a lot of language schools, cooking schools, etc. Any business that runs on class-based module, like programs or different say facilities, if they have, run on Omnify.
Okay. And primarily US and India?
Primarily US. We do not have many customers in India, probably very few actually. So, but primarily US, not America in particular. But we do have footprint in UK, Singapore, Australia.
Okay. So quickly, right, for the audience understanding, can you give a rough idea of where we are in terms of the numbers, let's say the revenues, how many customers we are at, how much of traffic that we are getting the website, etc.
Sure. So we have around 350-ish paying customers. We are at about 2 million plus in ARR. We actually have two business units, you can see that. One is the core SaaS, which is basically subscription-based. People pay us on a monthly basis or an annual basis. And there is the payments as well. So we take transaction fee for every transaction that is done via Omnify. We've recently launched, actually this year, we launched Omnify Payments, our own branded payment solution for these small businesses. Those are our kind of business units in the market. Typically, we get around, say, TK type customers in our funnel, around 1% conversion from traffic to leads. So when I say leads, it's either sign-ups, demos, or inquiries. Marketing qualified lead would be around 200 plus around, but we get around 300 plus leads, but qualified would be around, say, 200-ish would be the marketing qualified leads.
Okay. And when you say qualified, from the 300 to 200, what is that drop? When you say qualified, what all?
Yes. We see if they are relevant or not. A lot of spams also we get. We get people who are not in our kind of correct audience, so we just do not include them.
Okay, got it. So 350 plus customers, 2 million plus revenues, and 30,000 monthly visitors.
Yes.
And from there 300 to 200. Great. And so typically, how is the sales cycle here?
Right. So initially we had around we were catering mostly to SMBs. So it was a lot to do with them trying out the platform, 14-day trial, and they would convert within that period. Now what we have done is we have actually moved a little upmarket since last year, moved to a little bit of franchisee businesses, multi-location or bigger location businesses. And in that case, what we have seen is it can take anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks, sometimes a little more or sometimes sooner. But that is the average time period for the sales cycle. Yeah.
Right. And what's the ACV, the average, customer value that we are looking at here?
Yeah, it varies actually. Let's say per location, people pay us anywhere between $149 per month to say $599 per month, plus the transaction volume.
Okay. So that multiplied by the number of locations.
Locations, yes.
Okay. Right. Can you quickly, tell us presently, how is the marketing and, the sales team structured?
Right. So we have a very, very small team. So our marketing team actually has just two people. So one is, she joined us as a content writer when she was a senior content writer. Now she handles the entire inbound funnel. Along with her, there is another associate who does experiments, our newsletters, etc. But on top of it, we actually have people who work in different areas of marketing. So we have one person in founder's office who runs ABMs for us, account-based marketing for us, and because these are a little bit mid-market enterprisey customers, so we've started doing some ABM campaigns around it. We have a Webflow developer who is also a product designer. So he is again a fractional marketing team member. We have a growth ops lead who's been with us, and he's an expert, tooling expert basically, and he runs a lot of experimentation. So if you see, though, there are two people in marketing, but we have different people in different departments who also helps us in marketing.
Okay. And how is it in the sales team?
Sales team, actually, again, we do not have like a proper big sales team. Our main sales is led by Manik. It's purely founder led. And we have, again, our founder's office who works with Manik on that. And we have a 4-people customer success team who also joins Manik in sales. So it's a complete like solutioning team of around 5 people.
It's actually very rare, right? That we normally we have SDRs or other sales focused 100% sales focused team members. So here you don't have 100% sales focused team members. That's very rare. So how is it working so far? Like as in, or how it is working without the sales team members specifically?
Very interesting. So I'll tell you. So we actually for some period, like a few years, couple of years to be very specific, we had a big sales team. When I say big, it's big from my perspective because we had like 4 or 5 people team sales. It didn't move much. It didn't move much because honestly, what we are trying to do is to build a very, very self-serve product, right? So people coming up, they get their entire journey already figured out there, and they can just set it up within few hours or minutes, and they are all set. So in that case, all you need is the customer success team or someone to help you set that up or solution it for them, right? If they are asking some questions. So for that, a customer success team build a very robust team. One of our USPs from day one has been the customer success team. You go to our G2 reviews, people will only talk about them. The reason being what we have done is, and it started with me and Manik were the first customer success team members. And it started from the fact that we genuinely wanted to help these businesses. So we would get on calls with them. We'll try to help them solve problems with the technology, right? And it just kind of the DNA was kind of in our company. That is how the whole team was built, right? And then came the sales factor where we needed to drive sales and all. But then we realized that, the sales, what we are doing sales is mostly for mid-market and the bigger customers where it's important for the founders to be there. So it's led by Manik. And there's these people help them. But for the SMB segment, the customer success team only handles this. But going forward, if we have more money in the bank, maybe we'll hire a sales team. But for now, this is how it's structured. Right. It's a lot solutioning driven, basically.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. I haven't, come across another company which specifically doesn't have, sales specific, team members. That's very interesting for other companies also to, look up.
Yeah. Why kind of we actually got into this mode is, first is we were a very small team from day one. Very, very small team, right? So if I had to onboard even 20 people in our product, I needed to automate a lot of things, right? So be it videos, be it support articles, be it anything, right? So we started from there. So we said like, we don't want to be dependent on people. I have known companies who would close a customer, hire one person to just onboard them as well. And we realized that it's not scalable for a company of our size, right? So it started from there. At one point in time, during the pandemic, we saw a lot of growth, right? Like sudden growth, right? That didn't mean I can hire like 10 people right away. So I had to be smart enough and I had to create all these videos, all these DIY stuff that people can actually see and kind of get onboarded themselves. Same when it goes with sales. So we did that and it kind of led from, let's do not overhire people. And we just make the product self-sufficient itself, so that people who can do it themselves, they should, if they need help, because it of course involves a lot of deeper workflows. But then for that, the customer success team is there. But when we are building product, it's always back of our mind that how can I communicate it to the customer that this feature we have just launched. Second thing that is there is because it's a small team, and if you see, a lot of our team members are with us for almost 4 to 5 years. We are an 8-year-old company, and most of them are 5 years, 6 years been there. So a lot of these conversations around when it happens with enterprises and mid-market are actually the senior engineers lead the conversations, right? So it's a lot to do with our culture, where you see the memo, it will see that we all are co-owners. So it comes from that mentality as well.
Right. So how many team members are there right now?
30. We are at 30.
30. Okay. And roughly, so in marketing we have in total 2. Then sales is the entire sales team is 5. Is it? Customer success
is 4.
Okay.
Yeah, they're two founders, and we have one HR, one founder's office, and we have the other team members around 10 plus will be around engineering, QA, and product design. No, we do not have any product managers.
Okay. No product managers also. Interesting.
Yeah.
Take us through, how you thought of, marketing when you started, like from that 0 to 1 million journey.
Right. I'll take you through the 0 to 1 mil very, very fast. So one of the best decisions we took very early in our journey was when people were building websites themselves, like the engineers were coding the main website, we actually started using a tool called Webflow. Now everyone uses, I think, Webflow. So with Webflow, what happened is as a marketer, it gives you the freedom to do whatever you want in your website, right? So be it creating new pages, be it creating a new blog CMS, or let's say I needed to create experimentations, A/B testing, or whatever, I could do very easily with Webflow, right? So Webflow gave me that freedom. So that was one of the best investments we made, and we still use Webflow. We love Webflow. In fact, a lot of our customers, we have recommended Webflow for them as well. So that is one thing that we adopted. The second, actually the biggest tool that we used, which changed a lot for us, is Intercom. So at that point in time, it was mostly about ticketing softwares, Zendesk, Freshdesk, etc. And people would just raise tickets for support queries. But with Intercom, because it was a chat interface between the client and us, we could just talk to them like about anything, like if they are having a problem or if they just want to say that, yeah, I really love the product. All of it could be so easily done with Intercom that we kind of formed a interpersonal connection with them. So if you ask me, for the longest time, the 100 customers that I had in my platform, the first 100, I actually knew everyone's name. I actually knew everyone, where they are from, what problem they're solving, what solution they are, right? So with Intercom, that was very, very easy, right? And they had a mobile app and it just made it easier. So those two tools actually were the most important tools that we used from our 0 to 1, not 0 to 1, but the initial days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And roughly how many pages and all we had in the beginning in Webflow?
Yeah, we actually did a lot of pages. So it was very interesting. So when we started off with our SEO journey, we invested a lot in that, right? So we had a list of long tail keywords, and for every long tail keyword, I would create a page. So that was our entire playbook around SEO. So I remember in a month, I actually created around 90 pages. And a lot of it, of course, is now redundant and we've removed it, but that is how we did at that time. Currently, we have around 500 pages in our entire website, including blogs and other things.
Great. Those 500 pages now driving that 30,000 plus traffic, right?
Interesting. No. So actually, only those top 5 pages drive me those traffic.
Okay.
That is also something that we have learned. Is to basically optimize those top performing pages. Let's just take the 10 pages that perform the most for us and optimize them for mobile, for web, for every browser. So that is the key. But what we also have done is, of course, the pages are probably not performing, but I want them to perform well because this is for my ICP customers, or I understand that this will convert really well. So, and that's the second batch we focus on, but we do not focus on all the 500 pages. We do an audit, we keep it clean, but yes, we don't focus on everything.
Okay. And in that journey, so any contribution for ads and also email marketing campaigns, etc.?
So ads we did during that peak pandemic time, we did run certain ads, but it was run. We had a team, and back then they ran ads, but we don't do it now, or we didn't do it in the beginning, because with ads, what we have learned is like either you spend shit tons of money there, or it doesn't work. There's no point spending like say $5,000 in ads.
I hope this conversation on 0 to 1 million, you found it useful, and also how to use AI for marketing. Please leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next videos in the series of 0 to 100/AI for marketing. Until then, cheers and take care.